Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Flash, and thank you for joining me for another Marvel Snap video. This week we have a fun deck here. Something, familiar, good old Destroy, right? Tried and true with a little bit of a twist. Come check it out, see if you like it. Okay, everybody, here is the deck. And before we get into things, as always, just that little bit of housekeeping. If you could like and subscribe and share this stuff out, very much appreciate it. We're closing in on 700 subscribers, on our way to 1,000 and beyond. So thank you, I appreciate it. Now, as you can see here, this is good old Destroy, nothing special. It's straightforward, right? However, for the sake of sake, like I said, it is straightforward, but you see Phastos in here, and we'll get into how he fits in here. We'll do a quick card by card breakdown because you know what's going on here, but we'll do it anyway. Let's get into it. First and foremost, Deadpool. He's the main accelerator of this particular build of Destroy's game plan. There are a lot of other decks that use Destroy as like a package and build other things around it, but this is all in Destroy. Deadpool is one of your primary win conditions along with Null and Death. You want to do big things with Deadpool, get him going fast, get him going early, and just get him as big as humanly possible. Nico Minoru is a staple in Destroy decks currently, and pretty much for all time, right? Most of her abilities help out, whether it's giving the +2, whether it's destroying cards, whether it's she's getting bigger and then you're getting more power to Null because you destroy her. Nico is the most flexible card in Marvel Snap. She is in a vacuum one of the two best cards in Marvel Snap at just kind of going anywhere, and it's her and it's Jeff, period. X-23 is another staple in the Destroy decks, and she does things that she allows you to do things you generally aren't able to do. Right now, if you've made sure you've destroyed X-23 on turn 5, that means you can go Null, Deadpool, and a free death on turn 6 and spread that power all over the board, and your opponent just doesn't know what's going where, and it wins you a lot of games of Marvel Snap. Carnage, one of the things that makes this deck work, period. Once upon a time, Wolverine was the Deadpool of this deck. Now, of course, things have changed. However, don't underestimate the ability to get a Wolverine huge as a backup plan. Like a Wolverine into Shuri's lab and then a Hulkbuster, and then you destroy that. And then if you've got a double-digit Wolverine bouncing around the board, your opponent can't do much about it except Shadow King. Because you can't Shang it because it just bounces again and gets bigger. So Wolverine continues to just be a good card in Destroy decks. Hulkbuster fits in with the line of getting your Deadpool bigger, getting your Wolverine bigger if you need to, again, as a backup plan. Once upon a time, this used to be the battle between whether it's Hulkbuster or Forge, right? Some people use both. I primarily used Forge, whereas Forge was a one-cost card. Yes, it was giving less power, but being able to Forge and Deadpool on turn 2 was absolutely broken, and it did need to get changed. So it is what it is. But Hulkbuster is a new card at giving that extra buff of power, and it's good at what it does. Killmonger, you want to blow all your things up, but on top of that, Killmonger is just very good in the metagame right now. There's a lot of ones all over the place. There's Zoo decks, there's Ultron stuff. There are a lot of reasons why Killmonger is not just good for your deck. It's good for you playing defense as well. So keep that in mind. All right, we have arrived at Phastos. We've arrived at the flex spot in the deck, so I'll spend a little bit more time here than with the other cards. This Destroy is a tight, all in Destroy is a tight 11 card deck. Now, the 12th card could be like 10 different cards, right? Depending on your flavor, depending on what your meta game is, your pocket meta, just depending on how you feel that day, right? It could be Shang, it could be Zola, it could be Eliath, it could be Grandmaster. There are a lot of things that just go there that you can just test and mess around with. It could be Lady Deathstrike, right? Currently, I like Phastos in there because Phastos adds a level of consistency that Destroy often struggles with. And if you, in this deck specifically, you don't feel bad if you have to play Phastos on turn 4 even, because you might not have hit your Deadpool yet. And guess what? Getting a +2 Deadpool off the top and that you can accelerate very fast is very good, or a -1 cost to a Deadpool could be 0. Your Wolverine could be a 2, I'm sorry. Wolverine could be a 1 that you can play on a later turn with something like Carnage plus something else, or Venom, and you know, there are a lot of lines that Phastos creates for you that otherwise did not exist, and he does help with the consistency, and hopefully, you know, you will see that in some of the games here. Venom, one of the cards in the deck that this deck doesn't work without, arguably the most important card in the deck, period, which is a far cry from, remember, everybody that remembers Venom when he was a 3/1. Yeah. Venom's the most important card in this deck. It just doesn't work without Venom. Deathlock, another card that once upon a time I actually was cutting out of my destroy decks. You know, when you used to be able to do Forge and Hulkbuster and do other things, or you would... Deathlock is now locked and loaded, no pun intended, part of the tight 11 card deck that is Destroy, right? You just got to be in here. Plus, there's too many other things happening where opponents are sending negative cards over to your side of the board, whether it be White Widow or Goblins or such like that. And Deathlock is one of the only other the only other card outside of Carnage that helps you deal with that, because you can't Killmonger those things because they're more than 1 cost, and you don't want to Venom them because that's a bad idea, right? Because Venom's going to take that negative power and you don't want that. It's just you're not trading off anything by doing that. Not much, at least. So Deathlock is just as important in here because he helps you from a defensive standpoint as well as an offensive standpoint. Null. What can I say here about Null that hasn't already been said? It's one of the it's one of the cards that is the big win condition for this deck. Your opponent has to play around Null one way or another. They're going to always assume that you have Null and the Null's coming down. Period. And finally, one of the queens of Destroy, always, and she just got some brand new VFX, and they're awesome, but Death. Yes, because what? The only problem with Death, you're going to run up against Mobius, and then Death is going to be sitting on the sideline, and that's unfortunate. But yes, are you going to be sad that you don't have a 112 or a free 12? Yes. But can you win a lot of games of Marvel Snap with Death sitting on the sideline? Yeah, you can if you've been accelerating the other game plans for sure. But it's Death. Come on. Staple card. Alrighty then, as we get into some games here, again, Triskelion sucks, but as we get into some games here, again, that friendly quick reminder, please hit me with that like, I very much appreciate it. Goes such a long way. Let's get Deadpool out, just in case we hit Hulkbuster off the top. Now, this is going to be fun for me because Destroy is my favorite archetype in the game, and I always love when we get to make these videos that are centered around Destroy. Makes me happy. Nebula down. Eternal's Arc is a thing right now. Now, I will tell you this. Okay. Nah, we're gonna have to just play kitty for the sake of it. I will tell you this. Currently, with Eternal's Arc as a hot location in the game still at the moment, play Zola. Okay? Don't necessarily be locked into the Phastos right now. Phastos is still going to be good, right? In my opinion. But play Zola right now because Eternal's Arc. Just, okay, do yourself a favor. Let's just do this because we got to get this going. I would have liked to maybe play Wave and get Null down on the board, but we got to get cooking with this.
What a game!
And I have the VFX and the sound effects up. Because, you know, we want to hear that Death. If we can get Death going, we want to hear that. 2, 4. Of course, no draw because Kitty is selling us out right now. Let's go Baron Zemo with Deadpool. Unfortunately, Like, I'm not doing anything great game plan wise at the moment, and I don't love that.
Hello.
Now, I will sacrifice that demon to Venom if I can. Leech sucks, but the cards that we have in hand, we don't really care about Leech hitting us. Okay, that... it's not great. Especially not great now because we didn't get what we needed. Let's put Null over here. This is not gonna matter. This is not good. We're not gonna be able to win this with this Electro kind of doing us injustice. Cersei is good. It's a Gilgamesh is wild. Thanos and Tuma. I mean, Tuma blows up, but they're still winning that lane and very much winning the game anyway. I mean, we got good value off of that with the Null, but I don't know what their end game big play is. It's probably, you know, like a... You have to always be thinking about Magneto or something like that, and it's just... We're not in a good spot. We could have been able to Venom and Wolverine, but... we'll play it out for the sake of the content. We did... Getting that huge hit off of Null was nice with the Tuma getting blown up, but... We probably don't have the power to get around this. They don't know that, though. They think maybe we have death, and can they beat 12 power? And I guess they couldn't.
Victory!
Sometimes you gotta hope. Alright, let's get to the next one. Alright, Zach Murphy 9, huh? Yeah, we got nothing. Never good to have nothing. No release Deadpool or X-23 on turn 1. But here we go. We got Wolverine. Yeah, let's... Yeah, Wolverine left, I think. Either way, somebody's possibly ending up with a rock, right? Unless we tie over there. But Angela, right? We're playing this before the... You know, before the update, right? Before the OTA, so she's still a 2-0. Ooh, this is tough. Let's go Phastos. Let's see what that's looking like. Everybody, let's see how y'all are. Let's give everybody a preview here of what Phastos is looking like. Okay, so if they get rid of Eternal's Arc, we'll like that. Well, now we've played Phastos on Curve. We have a 14 power death, which is good. Let's do this now. I don't love that as my first like option for using Venom, but let's see how the rest of the turns go, and let's see if Phastos helps us out in this game. I already like a 14 power death, so I'm just putting that out there. That's the thing that you have to remember, where and how to use Phastos, like in terms of what deck you're putting him in. Understand that in this deck there are 0 bad hits, right? Nothing Phastos is doing is gonna hurt me in any way, shape, or form, right? So that's, you know, we like that. Athena and Angela in the same lane is interesting choice.
Enough said.
Now if we get Wolverine, that would have been great if Wolverine went into
Definitely need to change my underwear.
That would have been amazing. That's okay.
Impressive.
Just like the effects. Look at this. Come on, we're accelerated here. We're gonna snap. I'm gonna snap this because I like our line. We got a 0 cost Nico into Deadpool into Killmonger. Amazing. Carnage would have been better, obviously, but we're gonna put Nico. It doesn't matter where we put Nico and Deadpool, but Nico, Deadpool,
Hello.
Killmonger. Now, there's still a good chance we don't win this game, but okay, they get rid of Eternal's Arc, which is, I think, probably better for us at this point. Don't love that. Don't love that. I mean, we get the buff off of on Deadpool, but That doesn't help us. Nor do we get to kill
Rest
anything
in peace.
except the rock. Bounce Sneak, bounce that gets bounced out. Wolfsbane gets bounced out, which arguably is good for them because they get to replay that for bigger power. This couldn't have ended up any worse. We would have needed this ability to proc into, you know, shoot. Hulkbuster into Luke's bar bounces Wolverine back into hand. How does... Yes? Or does it not bounce because the game doesn't recognize... Like, it recognizes Hulkbuster as being gone? I'm not sure. Science. Science time, everybody. And it would just do this. And this. I'm willing to see where that goes, science-wise. Let's find out. It's a science hour with Flash here. They actually played something in the middle lane. I'm fascinated what that could be. Oh, it's a mystery. Okay, okay. If this works in our favor, this is a crazy steal. Okay, I was sure that is how it was gonna work, but I needed to see it happen. Because if it worked, you know, that would have been amazing. Oh man, I love it. Alright, let's get to the next one. Jotunheim's not great. See, and that last game was really an example of, you know, bad draws, bad location, just not hitting the things we needed, and, you know, it just didn't work out in our favor. Happens. It happens a lot with Destroy, in fact. Consistency is, like I said, an issue with Destroy. Deadpool would be nice. Alright. I have this way of manifesting the cards when I need. Now we just need things to not go into
impressive.
Alright.
Rest in peace.
X23 wasn't listening.
What a game!
Now, of course, it could get pulled by Great Web, which would be great. The one time where anybody says that, ugh. Well, a little late now, but it's okay. It's about her effect, not so much her power. So it is what it is. Let's do this like this. Play around that. Alright, let's see what you got. Sit around for this snap, right? No point in me retreating now, right?
Rest in peace.
Again, why is she attracted to Jotunheim
change my
so much?
underwear.
Blink the Electro, that's a good play. Into what? Jubilee.
We are the future.
Okay. Oh, that's not good. That's now very bad for us. Very bad, because now we can't, there's no way for us to access, and of course, here comes Venom. There's no way for us to access that lane, which is, again, very bad. Okay, here's the play. I don't know if it's the right play, but this is what we're gonna do. Sandman into what? Doom? See, but now they lose. If they just go Doom here, they lose because they're not gonna have the power to cover this. Doom isn't the bailout. What else could they play? Something big, right? Like, what else is at the top end? I mean, Magneto's at the top end of this deck, right? It's Sandman, it's Magneto, it's Doom. I'm not sure anything else is at the top end of this deck. I could be wrong. Like, power-wise. Like, there's no like Giganto, right? Like, not in this deck, I don't think. I don't know. Okay, 2 cards. Baron Zemo is interesting. That doesn't get you there. But we can't, the tie in the middle lane is not good for us. So, yeah, the Baron Zemo's a good play. They had to hope it was something, anything less than that would have been, like, if one of my 2s had been applicable for them to pull, like, they just lose there, so it's fine. Great, again, locations, right? Great Web didn't do us any favors. Locations. Yeah, I would argue Great Web is, everybody hates Great Web. Speaking of Giganto. All right. Nope. All right, so we're kind of really behind the gun here with our draws. And hey, that being said, I spoke about this before. Let's see if Phastos can help clean this up. Because now at this point, we need things to accelerate. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Sometimes Destroy has terrible draws and consistency because it's such an all-in archetype. This happens a lot, okay? Now, Phastos, again, can help clean this up because now all our smaller things, we can accelerate. And of course, I would pull Null off the top. Of all things, like... Alright. Let's go Deathlock. With the hope of at least getting one of the... something that isn't Nico or Death. Alright. Deadpool is fine. We can work with that. Jesus. Might be a little late for... It's tough because...
Hello.
I'm asking for a lot here out of this play. We don't have a choice though. It's like I wasn't left with much. Oof.
I am Iron Man.
That's a tough lane to be putting all your chips into. We get that off, which is great, but
I definitely need to change my underwear.
All
0-8 is
systems
great,
go.
but I mean, Nico. Alright, so we can do... I don't know what their finishing game plan looks like, honestly. I mean, it looks like maybe Giganto, because I know they have that. Which is not something we can beat power-wise. However, we can if we just do this.
The mystery intrigues me.
Obviously, why wouldn't it be Tribunal? I did not read that. I haven't seen much Tribunal lately, so some people will be like, what? That's all I see. Tribunal. And anybody that, you know, you guys that watch these videos, a copy. It's fine if we get Carnage, so let's just play it now. Y'all know that everything this is how this goes. I'm not pandering to the crowd, right? There's no like, oh, let me put all the wins in here. Like, nah, I'm just, whatever it is, it is. Period. Like, fine. Just another Venom is fine. Just We just need to get destroy things happening. And again, we're handicapped a little bit by locations and such like that. And we spoke about Mobius earlier. They think they're just like, you know, in the best place possible because like Mobius shuts down death, which is true, does, but you know, there are other things happening here as well.
Opponent snapped.
See, they're sold, completely sold on the fact that, oh, they win because of Mobius. Which is just not true. Here, right? Like, I'm not a cost reduction deck, right? Little late for Deadpool, so we're gonna do this. Now, they're looking to possibly drop the Void in our lap. They could either play around it with Cersei or a Nihilus. Now, we have good options if we can snag Carnage or Deathlock here off the top. Because we're in a good position to maybe win this left lane depending on where these cards go.
Enough said, bub.
Okay, well they didn't exactly go where now it's Carnage, Deathlock, or bust. Like, or just lose, right? Phastos. So like that doesn't help. It needed to be Carnage or Deathlock, and it just wasn't. So again, draws, right? Draws and locations, just you get handicapped a lot. It is what it is. Like, deal with it. Deal with the RNG of that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, so let's get one more in here as I continue to showcase a very straightforward destroy deck. But again, what you do with that flex spot is up to you, right? I'm just telling you that at the moment, having Phastos in there is a fun thing that you can be doing. And regardless how some of these games have gone, I've played enough of these games to tell you, you know, testing with Phastos, to tell you that he's putting in a good level of work here. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. All right, so we're up to
What a game!
Power Deadpool. Oh, going into turn 4. Nothing wrong with that. Miss Marvel. I should have snapped back, but it, you know, whatever. It is what it is.
Ha!
Now, if they can deal with my stuff, then it is what it is. I'm gonna test them on the fact of whether or not they can deal with it. Let's see. Maybe they can. Maybe they can't. Okay. What are you gonna shut off with that knockdown? If anything, right? But sometimes people play the mind games of not moving the knockdown all the time.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
The question is, what do they do, right? Because we can do a lot of things here. We can do this,
Hello?
and this. Okay, that's a lot of things to be. And they have Prio on this turn, so if they don't move that Nocturne and shut off this Eternal's Arc, they're not sitting in a good spot. They're not sitting in a good spot either way. I don't know what they have in this deck, but As I always tell people, you can't Shang every lane. Unless you're bringing Shang and Shadow King and Enchantress to the party all together, it's hard to deal with all of these things once they go off, right? This is the destroy that everyone... This happens, people are like, oh, destroy's too strong. Well, see the last 4 games that we just played, or how many ever games that we just played, and like, destroy's inconsistent as hell. Like... Sure, I get to do this, but
Impressive.
unless they can deal with no,
What a game!
the game's over for them.
Impressive.
Which, the fact that they haven't retreated means they might have a way to deal with null. Which is scary, but it is what it is. They don't have a way to deal with null.
Victory!
I didn't think so. I was hoping not, but it's, you know, they were trying to bait me with the retreat later. But that's it. Yeah, that's what we got cooking there. All right, everybody. So as you can see, Phastos here in Destroy, as I said, this is not a necessary card for any deck. Okay, but Marvel Snap is now, and Second Dinner is along the lines of releasing just good cards, right? But not necessity based cards. They don't need them to go in any specific deck. They're not breaking any archetypes at the moment. They've just been good cards. Some of them fun, some of them kind of mid-level, right? Makari is like, but she's fine. She's okay. Phastos, I think, is a good card and has homes in places, but just don't expect it to take your archetype and go, okay, fixes all the problems. Like, no. But it can be a fun card. It could just be a flat out good card, and that's okay. It can be a 7 out of 10 and just be good in a lot of places. It is okay. But that's all we got for this one. Thank you guys for checking this one out. I am Flash. I will check you guys out for the next video. Peace.